1,000 Good Reasons to End the War Between Russia and Ukraine. Today we mark 1,000 days since the beginning of the tragic conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Every day that the war continues, it creates deeper divisions, worsening human suffering and global tensions. The war has had devastating consequences for millions of people. The war has cost thousands of lives on both sides. Every day that the war continues, innocent people lose their lives or their loved ones. An end to the conflict could save countless lives and prevent further tragedies. Over 14 million people have been displaced from their homes. Many live as refugees in foreign countries, unsure of when or if they will ever be able to return home. A peace agreement can restore their hope and the possibility of returning to a normal life. Peace is a prerequisite for rebuilding the country. The war has caused energy crises, rising food prices, and economic instability worldwide. The children who grow up during this war carry trauma and loss with them throughout their lives. An end to the war offers a chance for peace and normality for future generations in both Ukraine and Russia. This war has created a dangerous geopolitical situation and increased the risk that the conflict could escalate into a global conflict. Diplomacy and peace are needed to avoid a wider crisis. When the war between Russia and Ukraine is over, we must reassess the trade policy and the Russian government that we have no plans for them to be isolated. We must pursue a much more inclusive policy, which leads to stability, growth, and harmony in Europe. We must stop claiming that Russia will subjugate large parts of the old Soviet Union again. It is only a sensible way to peace and stability. And it is through trade and interaction with people on an equal footing and equally in all areas. In order to create a lasting peace, it is required that we avoid excessive focus on the threat of Russian expansion, and instead create a framework for mutual respect and dialogue. It is also crucial to address the particular sensitivities in the relationship between Russia and Ukraine without justifying the invasion. Rebuilding trust between nations requires diplomacy that is rich in nuance and open to compromise. To create lasting peace, Europe must rethink its approach to Russia. Without strong diplomatic rearmament, the Ukrainian and Russian people will suffer even more. In future negotiations, there are also geopolitical matters, including border control, demilitarized zones, minority rights, future trade, etc. must be included. The Ukrainian and Russian people have suffered enough. The time has come to find a negotiated solution. We need to start rebuilding Ukraine. We need to re-establish normal trade relations in Europe, both in goods, services, and energy. If this does not happen, it will be very difficult to finance the reconstruction of Ukraine. The time has also come for the establishment of a conciliation institution that can mediate between Russia and Ukraine. We feel for the Ukrainian people. And if peace is to be achieved, both countries must make concessions and compromise, although it can be very emotional and difficult for the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people in these times to make concessions. But the advantage is that you spare many lives and can quickly start rebuilding the country. Turkey has shown a great desire to host future peace talks. It is necessary that more countries devote time and resources to concrete and constructive negotiations, and that they activate their diplomats for future peace negotiations. Turkey has shown a great desire to host the peace talks. There is no doubt that if it is to succeed in achieving lasting peace and stability in Europe, then both countries must feel that they have achieved something by concluding a peace agreement. There must be an exit strategy for the countries. Ukraine must be assured of its security and tangible guarantees of how they will finance the reconstruction of the country. The Russian government must get guarantees that the ethnic Russian minority in Donbass will get a. The Ukrainian and Russian people have suffered enough. The time has come to find a negotiated solution and normalize conditions in Europe.